I'm Mike Wells. I live on a boat. I used to live in the Olympic Park in Europe's largest housing cooperative, housing for 500 people. That was demolished to make way for the London Olympics, along with a lot of other things. Clays Lane Housing Cooperative. Yeah. Housing for 500 people. An amazing, amazing resource for London. You know, literally, probably tens of thousands of people have passed through there at some point in their lives. It provided housing for, it was supposed to provide housing for sort of single people. It was a tremendous mixture of people, you know, kind of all races, classes, attitudes, you know. Some people with a sort of cooperative mindset, anarchists, you know, people who'd fallen on hard times. There was all, it was a very interesting and a very special place, built in a different political era. Built, I would say, probably towards the very end of the sort of modernist era, when governments were trying actually to do the best by their people. Well, pretty standard really, you know, they would rehouse people. Incidentally, I mean, I got incredibly upset when one young man I knew at Clays Lane, he had learning difficulties, quite a vulnerable person, and they gave him a non-assured tenancy. I mean, to replace his secure tenancy at Clays Lane. I mean, I can't speak lowly enough of these people, really. They were rehoused. The deal was they got £8,500 and a council flat. A flat in social housing. Which sounds fantastic, and, you know, yeah, it's all right. But the point is, Clays Lane was, A, it was a community, and people are not going into a community. B, it was a resource. That resource has been destroyed forever. And C, the other thing about Clays Lane is it was a cooperative. Nobody was making a profit out of it. Consequently, the rents were very cheap, less than 50 quid a week, including all bills, heating, everything. I mean, it was so cheap. And the new rents were you know, double or three times. So this £8,500, yeah, it's gone in a couple of years in extra rent. Really, they should have, you know, accommodated the extra rent for 10, 20 years or something, I would have said, to be fair. Yeah, when I was in Clays Lane, I used to say to other co-op members, yeah, this is too good to be true. I mean, they're going to come for us. And of course they did. And I've said that to my friends on the boats. You know, I mean, we have such a wonderful lifestyle. You know, we're so rich in our way of life. You know, we've got a thriving community. You know, people support each other. There's a lot of love in the community, and we live cheap, bloody cheap. So, you know, of course they came for us again. I mean, last year they tried to get rid of the whole community basically by implementing new mooring regulations. But we fought back and we won that particular battle. But the Olympics is a bit of a curved ball. I mean, we're perceived apparently as a security threat. So, I mean, we're up here north of Lea Bridge at the moment, adjacent to the River Lea, and we've unless we pay 360 quid and probably have a security check as well, we're not allowed to stay closer to London than this. What you're seeing in front of you is an Olympic refugee camp, effectively, for boaters. The cut-off point, we all have to be out by July the 3rd if we haven't paid our 360 quid, or they'll tow our boats away and they'll charge us for towing them away. Well, the £360 allows you to moor on public land that is free to anybody to use, but suddenly I think they're overstepping their powers. They've just run to the Olympic trough trying to make some money out of it. That's British Waterways. Incidentally, British Waterways directors pay themselves upwards of £500,000 a year each, and then sort of victimise the people that live on their waterways, and refuse to acknowledge that they are de facto landlords, which they are. Like, all these boats are homes. I mean, it would be difficult for me to speak badly enough of the Olympics. I mean, what is it? It's obviously a waste of money. 24 billion, some people are saying it's going to cost. That's for 24 days of sport. Just about every promise they made about the Olympics has been broken. Jobs, clean up of a contaminated site, housing. They're lying about that. The reason they're lying about that is because the Stratford City development was going to be built anyway. They're not discounting the people they evicted from the Olympic Park anyway for the number of houses they're providing. The Olympic project is so knee deep in bullshit